The Paranormal Podcast is brought to you by GAIA, the streaming TV service dedicated to exploring the cutting edge of metaphysics, ancient wisdom, and the unexplained. 5,000 years of wisdom on demand. Get your first month for only 99 cents. Visit Gaia.com/Jim. That's Gaia.com/Jim to see what's happening on the largest consciousness media streaming platform in the world. Thanks, Gaia.
This is the Paranormal Podcast with Jim Harold.
Welcome to the Paranormal Podcast. I am Jim Harold and so glad to be with you today. And it has become a tradition around this time of the new year, and Happy New Year, everybody. We talk to one of our favorite guests, Maria DeSimone, and she's on the line and she's going to tell us about Astrology 2018. And a little bit later in the show, she is going to take some calls. Maria, welcome to the program. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, Jim. Always glad to be here.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I always enjoy our get-togethers. And before we go too far, I know there's been a lot of developments for you this year. You've become a podcaster. Welcome aboard. I know that's going quite well. Tell us what's new for Maria DeSimone about your podcast, how they can find your podcast, and everything that's new for you.
Well, thank you. I have to say, you have been such a source of support and instrumental as one of the people helping me to decide to actually do the podcast. You've been encouraging me to do this for years. So thank you for that, Jim. And I decided to launch a podcast the end of May 2017. And after the adjustment of it, it turned out to be the best decision that I made in 2017. It took off in a wonderful way. It's called the Insightful Astrology Podcast, and it's available everywhere podcasts are heard. So you can, iTunes, Google Play, wherever, all those other places. But of course, you could also go to my website, insightfulastrology.com, and listen to the podcast there. And what is exciting about this podcast is, although it's called the Insightful Astrology Podcast, and my hope was to help everyone really understand the power of the language of astrology to help you grow into your soul. That was the hope. But this podcast was never supposed to be exclusively about astrology either. I have a very large, wonderful network of metaphysical, spiritual friends. And when we hang out and have wine or have coffee and talk, it always amazes us, but then again, it doesn't, how astrology complements every other metaphysical tool, whether it's numerology, the psychic world, mediumship, tarot cards, anything. So the main goal of the show, aside from bringing astrology to life for people, is to help you see how astrology is complementary to every other metaphysical tool out there. And to achieve this, I have the best guests on the show with me every week. So we will talk about various spirituality topics, lots of metaphysical subjects. It's endless and always so interesting and fascinating to have that banter with guests. But then the second half of the show is our tag team readings. I'm providing the astrology readings to callers, and whoever my guest is doing what they do, whether it's talking to dead people or a tarot card reading or numerology or psychic impressions. And it is so fun, so fascinating, and it really does help people, which is the obviously the ultimate goal. It helps people. Alternative spirituality. It's alternative ways of healing, and it's going to become even more meaningful in 2018 when I tell you about the astrology that's happening for all of us. But that's my show. I hope everyone decides to give it a listen, and hopefully you'll get hooked and you'll learn something new and really grow into your soul. That's the goal.
Well, the thing that I know is after doing this show, and it's probably been 10 years, I probably should go back and look, but I knew that you had it in you to be a podcaster because you just have this great energy, bubbly energy, lots of great information. I'm like, this person should have their own podcast. So I'm so glad. A little bit late to the party, but that not really. You're never late to the party because it's going very well from everything I can gather, and I'm really happy you're doing it. And I do suggest anybody interested in astrology and the metaphysical in general should definitely check it out. So I'm so glad that it's going well. That makes me very pleased. Now, 2018 sounds like there's a lot on the boards for astrology in 2018. What themes are you seeing emerge?
Okay, this is going to be an interesting year. And, not every year has outer planets changing signs, because the outer planets in astrology, in our solar system, actually, because they're real. So Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, these planets move really slow. And that means they don't change signs as fast as, Venus changing signs every year, or Mars changing signs, taking take once every 2 years to go around the zodiac. So, what's happening in 2018 is Saturn and Uranus are both changing signs. Saturn already, by the time you're listening to this podcast, Saturn already moved into Capricorn. And this happened on December 19th, 2017. But until December 2020, Saturn is going to remain in Capricorn. And this shifts our karmic lessons. Okay, because Saturn is the planet of karmic debt, responsibility, maturity. It is where you are forced to slow down in your life and take stock of how far you've come and how far you really have to go. And the way to achieve anything with Saturn's energy is always to be realistic, roll up your sleeves, shut the F up and do the work. That is Saturn. Okay, Saturn doesn't play games. This is like, the meanest teacher you ever had in high school, or you're a very authoritative father figure, or the really nasty boss energy. Okay, Saturn says, you're going to play by the rules, mister. And if you don't like it, oh, well, you're done. Okay, that's it. So now Saturn's going into Capricorn, which is the sign that it naturally rules. And this is a good place for Saturn to be. Saturn is comfortable in Capricorn, Jim. But what this means for all of us collectively is that it is 1000% time for us to become very serious and realistic about our goals and ambitions professionally, and also our responsibilities personally, and to go about achieving them in a stable way. This is a stable, grounded energy that will give success in proportion to the work that you put into it. So older people are going to be much more revered once again, okay? And I see that coming back, especially in our culture. Old people have, the elderly are not valued as much as other cultures, which is a very sad thing. And I actually think that with Saturn and Capricorn now, we are going to get back to the reality of seeing, you know what? These old folk have a lot to offer us. Let's learn from them. And that's going to be a good thing. And I also think that we're all going to have a lesson of overcoming a fear of success versus a fear of failure in a specific area of our life. And that depends on where Saturn is moving through Capricorn in your personal birth chart based on your sun sign and your rising sign. And of course, you can find that out. You can go to my website, and I have the year ahead forecasts, which are so affordable, and you can get a detailed forecast of what this means for your sign. And I encourage you to do that or of course, book a personal consultation to find out more. But that's one big planetary shift, Jim. As if that weren't enough, we have an even bigger one. And this one, I mean, this one's going to knock your socks off, because things are going to come out of my mouth that you might have never heard of before.
Okay. All right. We're ready for Maria DeSimone Unplugged.
And maybe your listeners have not heard of this, but this is going to be fascinating. Okay, so the planet Uranus in astrology is all about liberation and freedom and everything radically different from the status quo. Saturn is about playing by the rules and tradition. Uranus breaks up tradition. Uranus is chaos. Uranus is, no, you're stuck in a rut. We're going to change things up. Now, once every 7 years, Uranus will move into a new sign. So Uranus has an 84-year cycle. It takes 84 years for Uranus to go through every sign. And once every 7 years, Uranus moves into a new sign. Uranus has been in Aries since 2011. And what's going to happen in 2018, from May 15th until November 6th, Uranus will give all of us a taste of what is going to happen when he slides into the sign Taurus. Now, Uranus will go back into Taurus full force in 2019, and we'll talk about that then. But you want to pay very close attention to what's happening in the news between the middle of May 2018 and November 6, 2018, while Uranus is in Taurus, because it's going to set the stage of what this transit will bring for us collectively. Now, what is Taurus? Taurus is money. Taurus is values. Taurus is self-worth. Taurus is stability, financial stability. It's also the senses. It's the earth. Okay. Taurus is a very practical energy. Uranus is technology, everything radically different, everything weird and strange. So what you're going to start to see, and what a lot of astrologers are predicting, so this is not just me, I don't have the monopoly on these predictions. This is really a symbolic energy that we're understanding. Money as we know it is going to change over the next 7 years. If you are not familiar yet with cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, all of that, you might want to educate yourself because Uranus going into Taurus is going to blow that up. Remember when, the .com stocks went crazy?
Like in the late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah.
Okay. So now that's going to happen with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency when Uranus goes into Taurus. And you're going to get a taste of this in 2018, but it's really going to fly in 2019. And it is possible. Some astrologers actually think that by the end of this Uranus and Taurus transit, physical money as we know it will be gone. I don't know if I agree with that. That would make me sad personally because I am a Taurus and I like to hold on to things. But I have to say it's compelling and interesting to kind of think about that money as we know it is going to radically change. That's one thing that you can see with Uranus and Taurus. Another thing that I think is interesting is, the technology with farming is going to change even more with lands and how we kind of, live off the land. But going totally opposite, on the one hand, physical money might totally disappear, but with Uranus going into Taurus, a lot of us, so many of us, are going to kind of almost, radically want to go back to the land, radically go back to the physical universe. We are so caught up and living in a technological universe that, I don't know if you have this experience, Jim, but, all the kids in my family, when they get together, they're sitting on the couch talking to each other on their phones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's device city. And believe me, I'm a big tech guy. I love tech, but sometimes it's even too much for me.
Oh, we have to actually make them talk to each other sometimes. And it's ridiculous. And I know it's a generational thing, but even us, we're older and we are caught up in the world of technology. But Taurus is physical, and Taurus demands physical presence and substance and a connection to everything that it aligns with your senses. So I am seeing that this transit might almost make us radically kind of start to disown some parts of the technological world that we've been caught up in, just because we have a desire now to get back to the physical. And so, you're going to start to see people consciously going off the grid and not wanting to be so tied to their devices. And I think that could be a happy thing with Uranus going into Taurus. Another thing is Uranus rules everything alternative healing, medicine, metaphysics, astrology, and money is Taurus. So anyone in an alternative field, anyone in a weird industry, a weird profession, including your podcasting, that is radio, that connects to Uranus. These people have an opportunity now to make bank with the Uranus and Taurus transit. Wealthy, new age, spiritual people, okay? People who are podcasters. The podcaster millionaire might happen, okay? This is all very
I volunteer. I
nominate you. This is all possible with Uranus going into Taurus. But the caution is with Uranus into Taurus, money can also quickly disappear. So you have to be very aware of what you're doing with your money and finances during this Uranus and Taurus transit. But I mean, to me, we've got some fascinating shifts astrologically that you want to pay attention to in 2018. And again, it's going to affect you differently, Jim, than me and any of our listeners here, because everybody has a different chart, and Uranus and Taurus will hit your chart in a different way. But radical transformation that's going to hit you at your roots is guaranteed.
Very, very interesting. And then with cryptocurrency, you see, a couple of years ago, I watched a documentary on it, and I think I'm a fairly bright guy, and I still didn't understand it. And that's one of the things where I'm kind of a Luddite. I'm very frightened of it. And I think as we talk now, and I don't want to misstate it, but it's around 50. I read one report that was $15,000 per Bitcoin, $17,000. I don't know what it is as we record this in December. A little secret there, folks. We're recording this a little early, but the point is that I'm just afraid. I don't know if you're familiar. There was this thing, tulips. There was this craze for tulips, and people were paying thousands of dollars for tulip bulbs, like hundreds of years ago, and then just because it was a fad. And I just wonder if there's some of that. So we do not give any investment advice on this show. So.
No. It's interesting what you said about the tulips. I wonder what year that happened, because that is a Uranus and Taurus. Taurus is the physical world and the land, lands and flowers. And so there's this arbitrary value given to random crazy things that's happening. And yes, it could very well be that cryptocurrency is the new craze for a few years. But remember, all of this is temporary. None of it, and you can't take any of it with you. So don't get too caught up, and don't, invest all of your money in one area, because I don't know, to me, I need to see something and touch it and taste it for it to be real, but I am a Sun in Taurus, so that's just me.
1637, by the way. 1637.
Really?
Yes, tulip mania.
I'm going to look into the astrology of that.
That's a very cool idea. That's a great blog post. So what's kind of the bottom line for people in 2018 if we're looking for some direction from Maria DeSimone?
I think that we are going to get some more stability, especially the cardinal signs. You poor cardinal signs, Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. You guys have been through the ringer for the past seveul years while Uranus has been in Aries. You have it, and you're going to get a break now, and you're going to get some more. It's going to be calmer for you guys. But there, Saturn in Capricorn is going to say, "Hey, take on this responsibility. As long as you do it willingly, you're fine. It's not going to punish you and make your life miserable." So my advice really is, breathe in the new calm and the new peace that wants to kind of come into your life, but also remember that you have to take personal responsibility very seriously in 2018. There's no running away from it. And the more that you're willing to embrace your personal responsibilities, your responsibilities to society and the world, the easier the energy will flow in 2018. And I actually think that there's a lot of depth, a lot of spiritual growth available. I didn't get into Jupiter and Scorpio and this beautiful, trines that Jupiter's making all year long, but there's a lot of psychic, spiritual depth energy available to all of us in 2018. And that's going to be really nice for the water signs. Water signs and earth signs are really, I think, going to have a lovely 2018 overall. I'm not saying air and fire signs will not, but just the energy is so heavy, water, earth, that there's a lot of peace and calm being restored, I think, for you guys.
Very, very cool. Well, after this, Maria, this message, we are going to bring on some callers. Are you ready? Do you have your chart set up, all set to go?
I am ready to go, my friend.
Excellent. Well, we'll be back with Maria DeSimone and some callers right after this. The Paranormal Podcast is brought to you by GAIA, the streaming TV service dedicated to exploring the cutting edge of metaphysics, ancient wisdom, and the unexplained. And Happy New Year, everybody. And I'm guessing that some of you may have gotten a streaming device of some type in your stocking, whether that be a Apple TV, whether that be a Roku, whether that be a phone, smartphone, or a tablet, or maybe a new computer. And part of the fun of that is saying, well, what things with this fancy new hardware can I explore? And one of those things that I would recommend for you is GAIA, because you're obviously interested in these subjects. You're listening to this show, and GAIA is the best video provider out there for the topics that we love. Now, you can watch GAIA on all of those devices I mentioned and more. And there is a lot of video on the internet, but a lot of it is not curated. It's not vetted. But Gaia creates, curates, and brings you the best in Fortean topics on video, full stop. Now, couple of different things this week. Usually we spotlight new shows and things that they're doing. Now it is the holiday, so Gaia has decided to do something even more special than usual. They're going to give you the opportunity to watch an episode of one of their programs for absolutely free. Now, I have to say that this link expires in 48 hours from the time that the first person clicks on it. So I'm releasing this show, so hopefully you got this quickly and you've listened to this quickly. It's part of Gaia.com's Friends Watch Free experience. So on this episode, they're going to give you the opportunity to tune in to an episode of their program, Ancient Civilizations, Episode 7, Decoding the Great Sphinx. The Great Sphinx of Giza, the oldest known monument from the ancient Egyptian world, stands as a symbol of the arcane mysteries still waiting to be unearthed. Could the truth about our past be locked in an ancient chamber situated below the great beast's paw? Well, you've got to go to Gaia.com/watchfree/55 to find out. Gaia.com/watchfree/55 to find out. That is a free episode of Ancient Civilizations, Decoding the Great Sphinx, but you've got to do it within 48 hours of the first person clicking on that link. We'll also include it in the show notes this week. And then once you've done that, I recommend that you go over to Gaia.com/Jim. That's GAIA.com/Jim, because there you can sign up for your first month of Gaia for only 99 cents. What a gift. The free video and now 99 cents for your first month. I think you're going to enjoy it. You are going to make that new device sing with the best in Fortean video. It's great, and you're going to want to check it out if you haven't done so. Visit Gaia.com/Jim. That's GAIA.com/Jim to see what's happening on the largest consciousness media streaming platform in the world. Happy New Year, and thanks, Gaia. So, Maria, are you ready to take some callers now?
Oh, I am ready to go, Jim.
Well, here we go. We have our first one on the line. Bertie from Texas, and she was born on June 21st at 6:40 p.m. Bertie, welcome to the show, and Maria's going to tell you what the stars have in store for 2018.
Hello.
Hi, actually, it's July 21st.
Oh, July.
Yes,
Oh,
I have
my.
July.
I misread it. Yes, I'll tell you. It's early in the morning here. I need some more coffee.
It's okay.
Bertie.
It's early for me, too.
Well, thanks for being with us this early, Bertie. And don't worry, I have all of your correct birth information, you sweet Cancer lady, you. Don't worry. So I'm glad that we're talking today. And before I get started, how familiar are you with astrology? Have you ever seen your birth chart or talked to an astrologer before?
No, I haven't, but it is something that's always interested me.
Okay, excellent.
I am from what I've read, I am very much in line with Cancer as far as the moodiness, sensitivity, and all that.
Oh, yeah, you definitely are. Your Cancer sun is in the 7th house of relationships. So there's a big focus on other people in your life and relating. And in general, that also aligns well with your moon in Libra, which is very much about the need to relate and have harmony and peace in relationships. And so, we can go on and on about how your birth chart gives this vibe of you giving way too much of yourself to others, but that is more of like a counseling thing that we talk about if we were in a session. But today we really want to look at some of your cycles, Bertie, for 2018. And I do have something that I can share with you based on your cycles, but I also want to invite you to, if you prefer to ask me a question instead, I'm happy to address a specific question that you have. It's up to you.
No, just give me what you got, and we'll go from there.
Well, what I've got, it does seem like you are in a relationship and or career transition in 2018. Okay, so there are 3 different cycles that are kind of happening at the same time, and when we see major outer planets all coming together like this, it is a year of events. It will absolutely be an eventful year for you. The first cycle that comes up has to do with the planet Saturn, which is going into the sign Capricorn. And on December 31st, right, at the very end of 2017 into early 2018, Saturn's going to cross your ascendant, which is an important part in the chart. That's the cover of your book. It's your identity structure, but it's also connected to your relationships. And with Saturn crossing your ascendant, I know that 2018 will be a year of you taking on an important new responsibility for yourself, for your identity. This is something that will require a great deal of discipline, commitment, and work on your part, but it is something that you appear to be taking on to either improve yourself or to improve a relationship. Many times when Saturn crosses the ascendant, someone will have a big turning point. They'll start a new job. They'll get married or divorced. They will have a baby or buy a house. Whatever it is that adds a significant amount of personal responsibility to your life, Birdie, is indicated for 2018. Now, in addition to this, you have 2 other cycles, which both seem to be a little disruptive. So I'm going to ask you to weigh in here so that we can bring this to life. But one of the cycles seems to be that you've got this itch that you're dying to scratch in 2018. There's a part of you that really wants a big change. And this may have to do with where you are in relationship, but it could easily have to do with career as well, because there's a parallel here for you. I literally see a relationship change and a career change all in the same year, which sounds like a lot. It does sound like a lot. And it doesn't have to be bad. So don't be afraid of this. Understand that anything that the universe is breaking apart for you in 2018 is happening because ultimately you are meant to go into a phase in your life again, Birdie, where you once more feel like you've come alive. Because you're stuck, you're stale, and you don't feel alive.
I am, yeah.
I can see that in your chart. I see a lot of that frustration. And the good news is that 2018 is going to break apart that stale, stuck feeling. And if you don't do it, Birdie, the universe does it for you with events that will happen to you. And so it's always better to kind of take the bull by the horns when I see this kind of energy and decide to be in the driver's seat of change. So, so tell me what you understand right now about literally career change and relationship change all in 2018.
Well, I don't anticipate any sort of relationship change, at least with my husband. But there definitely is something going on with me as far as career change, something along that line. I actually don't work outside the home, but there's something that I've been thinking about doing for the past couple of months as far as volunteerism that I think is something that I'm very interested in and pretty close to my heart.
Okay. So what I interpret these cycles as for you then, since you don't work outside of the home just yet, that's going to change, okay, in 2018. There is a disruption now in the flow of your home and family life as everyone is comfortable with it. And this is why the relationship is transitioning. Doesn't mean bad. It means change, okay? So your husband might have a bit of an adjustment period to the new,
can see that.
What you're pursuing. That right. I can see 100%. I'm not saying your relationship is ending. I'm seeing a clear transition. And it's going to be uncomfortable for him because you are the Cancer amazing lady who's probably done so much and provided such a cushy, comfy family environment. And you're going to be outside of the home more. And so there's going to be that shift there. But ultimately, you need to do this because it will make you come alive. And that's the moral of your astrology story for 2018. So I hope that this was helpful to you.
Definitely it is very helpful. I definitely appreciate the insight because that sort of gives me the idea that I'm going down the right path.
You are. Listen to yourself and good luck. And thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the call.
Thank you for being on the show, Birdie, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too.
Next up on our astrology extravaganza for 2018, we have Hollister from Memphis, Tennessee. She was born at 10:19 p.m. on July 19th. Hollister, welcome to the program and tell us, or let's have Maria tell you what lies in the stars for 2018.
Hello, Hollister. Welcome to the show. I'm excited to talk to you about your astrology today. Let's see.
Oh, I thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
Oh, good. So how familiar are you with astrology? Have you ever seen your birth chart before? Is this a brand new experience for you?
Nothing personalized.
No, okay.
I followed it in the papers, but very lightly. Nothing personalized.
Okay, so I'm zeroing in on a very specific cycle for you for 2018 that I can discuss with you. But before I talk about that, is there any specific question that you have for me?
Actually, no. Maybe work.
Okay. So work, when I actually have a financial cycle, but go ahead with the work question. So it's probably in line.
I was wondering if there would be any changes with me with work.
Okay. So I do see a significant change. Okay. And I'm going to time it for you. We are, as we come into 2018, there is a shift for you with how you're making your money. It comes across literally as a cycle, and it's going to sound scary when I say it, but don't be scared of it. It's almost like a source of income is getting killed off for you. Okay. So there's something changing here, but I am seeing this as ultimately in your best interest because you're not happy with what you're doing. There's a feeling of being stale, being stuck in a rut, you need more freedom is what I'm sensing with whatever it is that you want to do for work. And you might not have either the creative freedom or the structural freedom with schedule and routine the way that you need it at this point in your life. And so my sense is that the universe is going to help you correct that. It is a course correction. If you lose your job, Hollister, which is possible, but please don't let this freak you out. If you lose your job, I am seeing it quite possible the first quarter of the new year, between the middle of January into March, the end of March. And when that happens, if that does in fact happen, the rest of 2018 becomes a year of you going to that course correction and deciding, well, you know what? This ended. Now let me become empowered. Let me use my creative talents. Let me begin to earn money in the way that I really know I want to in my heart, but maybe I've been afraid to because I'm so security conscious. So I don't know if I'm babbling, if any of this makes sense to you, but
no, that makes a ton of sense, especially the security conscious part. You just hit the nail on the head.
And what's hard for me to tell you, because I'm looking at a woman with 3 planets in Cancer and a Taurus moon, so I really understand you are all about that emotional and material security. It's so important to your core. So it's hard for me to even say this to you, Hollister, but at the same time, I can understand that for your soul's best interest, for your highest good, what is ripped away from you this year as far as that kind of initial financial security that you're holding on to, if you could only see what's around the corner and have faith in the fact that the universe is truly trying, it's not trying to destroy your life. It's trying to get you on this course correction, Hollister, to help you honor your talents and to make you see that you actually have a bit of an entrepreneurial badass inside of you that you might not be in touch with quite yet. But I see that. Okay. And I can see you being more in charge of your schedule and your routine and your creative gifts with work. And I hope that you can use that, the catalyst of the initial loss to say, you know what? I've got this. I'm going to not only rise from the ashes, but I'm going to create something now from this that empowers me financially for the long haul in a way that nobody can take away from me. And that's your lesson, Hollister. That really is your lesson. You overcome the fear of your own independence, the courage to do you in your earning capacity and with your talents and abilities. So I hope that this was helpful to you.
Oh, I am going to have to keep that in mind and remind myself when and if the feared change comes.
Don't be afraid of it. It's really for your best interest. It really is. Okay. Just, I can see around the corner. You can't, but you have to trust. Okay. Good luck to you, Hollister.
Yes.
Good luck, Hollister, and
you.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
Mark is on the line to find out what astrology holds in 2018 from Maria DeSimone. Mark, welcome to the program. I know you were born in Idaho Falls, Idaho, 4:31 a.m. on September 16th. And we're looking forward to Maria hopefully giving you some good news for 2018. Maria?
Yes. Hi, Mark. I'm actually relieved because I do have really good news for you. How are you?
Great. I'm awesome with that news.
Yes. Okay. So hopefully our conversation today will make you smile. Now, before I get into what I have to say astrologically, have you ever seen your birth chart or talked to an astrologer before, Mark?
I have seen it. I haven't talked to anyone about it.
Okay. So at least you kind of have an idea of what your chart is like, which is awesome. And that makes sense given that you've got this inquisitive, mysterious Scorpio moon that loves to kind of look into the depths. So I get that. Now, your cycles for 2018, there's a big theme for you on home and family expansion. Now, that's a big umbrella. Okay. So we're talking about a Jupiter cycle, but a Jupiter cycle by itself, its job is just to expand what it touches. And what's happening for you is it actually occurs December 14th, 2017 for the first time, but you're going to experience this over 2018 as well during different parts of the year. You're going to experience it also June 23rd and again July 27th, 2018. And this is a Jupiter cycle to your home and family sector, which only happens once every 12 years. Now, in general, this is a time of home, family, real estate expansion. If you move to a place that you're happier to. If you stay where you are, something happens in your family life that restores peace and contentment and harmony and happiness to your home situation. Very often, there is an actual family member that is born or comes to live with you, or there is a literal expansion. Now, you have another cycle on top of this that adds to the goodness. Okay, so this is why it becomes more important for you. Your moon, which rules home, family, feminine energy, is also in the fourth house. So when Jupiter touches your fourth house cusp, it also will touch your moon at various times. And I'm seeing this for you February 5th, again April 9th, and again on September 28th. So Jupiter to the moon says the same thing. Happiness at home, family expansion, something really good and yummy. Do you have any plans to move right now, Mark? Or is there a new addition on the way? It doesn't have to be your baby. It could be in your family environment.
Yes, I'm actually very unhappy in the place where I am living right now.
Okay.
And so I am definitely planning to move in the summer of next year.
Okay.
And so if it means I can move to a place that I'll finally enjoy living there, that would be great.
Okay, that's huge that you said the summer, because I am specifically seeing 2 more hits between June 23rd and July 27th. So I can time the move for you right around there. And I can really, Jupiter can promise you that it's going to restore the peace and harmony and sense of wellness that you need to feel in your living space. Okay. And that will happen for you. So that's going to be very exciting. Now, in addition to that, you may also hear that in your family environment, somebody's having a baby. Don't be surprised. Okay. And this is also, it will turn into a very nice career opportunity year for you. There's something very special happening either in February or in August or both months. Okay. And then your income by the end of 2018, there is a big major boost and shift for your income. So I am seeing you with multiple positive career cycles for 2018. I do not see it as a crisis year for you. I see it as a year of growth and opportunity. And that is something to smile about, my friend.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Good luck to you, and thank you for being on the show with us.
Mark, thank you so much, and Happy New Year to you, sir.
Thank you. You too.
Well, we got to talk to a few callers there, Maria. Some challenges ahead, some opportunities, and I guess that's kind of the way that life is in general, isn't it?
Yes, That's always how life is. Without change, there's no growth. Change is not always easy, but it is necessary. And as long as you can lean into the changes of your life and not freak out about them, you maximize, you get the biggest bang for your soul growth buck that way in this lifetime. And I'm just, I always love to help guide and counsel people using their astrology, because understanding your astrology does give you a sense of empowerment, and it allows you to kind of direct the changes in your life in a more powerful way.
Well, if people want to find out how to change their life in that powerful way and check out everything you do, the podcast, your website, your videos, everything that you do, tell us the various contact points where they can go.
Just go to insightfulastrology.com. Everything is there. You can schedule a consultation. You can purchase the year ahead video forecasts. You can create a free chart so that you can see what your chart looks like. You can listen to my podcasts and then decide if you want to subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, or anywhere else. And there's just so much information on my website. I also teach classes. So go connect with me there. I look forward to it. And of course, all social media. We're all on social media. So I'm Maria DeSimone, the only astrologer on Facebook, and Astrologer Maria on Instagram and Twitter.
Very good. Maria DeSimone has been our guest. And Maria, the funny thing is we always say, it's going to be a year until we do the show. And then I look up and I said, I've got to email Maria. It's time for the show. And and 2019, believe it or not, will be here faster than we can blink, won't it?
I believe it.
Well, as always, it's one of the highlights of my year and a great way to start off a new year. Maria DeSimone, thank you for being a part of the Paranormal Podcast once again.
Oh, thank you, Jim. You are my favorite podcaster.
And thank you. And we thank you, and we hope that 2018 is the best new year ever for you, that you just have a great year coming up, and we'll hopefully be here in 2019 to talk to you again about more astrology. We thank you for tuning in to the Paranormal Podcast. Tell a friend. Thanks so much, and have a great week. Bye-bye.
Now for the legal disclaimer. We do not accept money from publishers or content producers in exchange for interviews. However, as with most media outlets, in the majority of cases, we do receive complimentary copies of books and DVDs that we feature on our podcasts. Your purchases of books, DVDs, and other items via our Amazon.com links benefit Jim Harold and JimHarold.com and help us continue our programming. The sponsor messages you hear on the programs are paid endorsements, although we really do like them. For the full disclaimer, go to JimHarold.com, and thanks for listening.